Could the title race be over before it started for Liverpool? How big an advantage could this be for Arsenal? Big updates this morning, and I don't quite know how I missed this. In the last few days, I know I've been traveling and I'm away right now, but not just Ryan Gravenberch, but also Konaté picking up injuries during the international break. How damning, how decisive could this be for the title race? The centre-back area, especially for Liverpool, already vulnerable. The defensive element of Liverpool's game already vulnerable. You could argue Konaté being out's a positive in some regard because of the injury problems, the performance issues that he has had so far this season. But I want your thoughts, I want your opinions right now in the comments section below. Let's jump into this. Welcome back to my channel. I need to say Football Terrace. Football Terrace is my main channel, but welcome back to Terry Flewers TV. Like, share, subscribe, hit that hype button for us as well, please. I know we're not in the usual surroundings, as you can see. I'm currently away. I'm in the Emerald Isle, having a great time here in Ireland, but still working, still making content in my little bits of downtime, which I enjoy doing. And this story, I don't know how I missed it. Update here from the Manchester, not the Manchester Echo, the Liverpool Echo. This says Liverpool have suffered a significant injury blow with Ryan Gravenberch sustaining a hamstring issue on international duty. The player has played this down, saying it's more about fitness, but he says the Netherlands international was substituted at halftime during the nations clash with Finland on Sunday, and the 23-year-old will now be assessed ahead of the Premier League clash against Manchester United this weekend. It is currently unknown just how severe the setback is, but Arne Slot is already dealing with multiple issues across his squad at present. Ryan indicated, this here is an update from Ronald Koeman, who says Ryan indicated that he was experiencing some minor hamstring discomfort. Koeman told the press that we obviously didn't want to take a risk with him. Ryan Gravenberch himself said after the game it was partly fitness related. The season is long, so it was a precaution. I'm feeling good, and I have the coach's confidence. So there is a silver lining there. But is he going to be fit enough to play in this game against Man United? Let me ask Liverpool fans this question: if that hamstring's looking a little tight, if that hamstring's looking a little bit problematic, would you even risk it at this stage? Would you even risk it at this particular moment and at this particular point? You may want to, you may think it's right to do that, but do you think that can you beat Man United without Ryan Gravenberch? That's the first question I have. And although some are going to sit here and say that I'm being shameless and I just want Liverpool to be weakened to give Man United a better chance, I'm not going to deny it. There is a part of my thinking that is in that space. Why would it not be? I'm a Man United fan. We've got very little chance of winning this match. Liverpool having their better players out gives us an advantage. Or that advantage isn't even the right word. It gives us a marginally better chance of maybe getting a draw out of this game. But on a real level, if that hamstring's feeling tight, if that hamstring's problematic, what if he does play and in a sprint that hamstring tears and then he misses the next 3 or 4 games, misses the next 10 games, misses the next 15 games? That is something I think that Arne Slot and Liverpool have to get right. Now, you all know I'm somebody that says that players play with knocks, players play with niggles, players play with injuries all the time, and you can't just leave them out indefinitely when they're not feeling perfect. But there is also a time and a place. If a player's got a bit of a sore leg and you're playing a team that you should be able to beat without him, do you risk that person for that game? That's the question that I'm asking here. That's fundamentally different to saying you should never play any player with any niggle, any little gripe, any little problem whatsoever. The other news, as mentioned, also relates to, we know that Alisson, I think, is going to be out for this game, but also Konate as well. It says this update from the Echo here says Arne Slot's side enjoyed a torrid run before the international break, losing 3 matches in a row, blah, 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 blah. After the 2-week hiatus, the weekend's game against United gives the Reds the perfect chance to bounce back and return to winning ways. We've mentioned Gravenberch, but this is what it says about Ibrahima Konate. It says that the France centre-back was substituted against Chelsea after appearing to suffer an injury problem before the international break. He then decided to team up with the France national team despite confirming that he had a tight issue. The former Frankfurt man has since returned home after he didn't feature in the 3-0 win against Azerbaijan. Upon return, Konate will be assessed to see if he is fit enough to start the game against United this weekend. And this is also one of those situations. Look, I think he's been awful this year, Konate, but he's not an awful player. I feel that whether he stays or he leaves in the summer, whether he stays at Liverpool, whether he goes to Madrid, I think he'll find his form at some stage this season. And yes, there'll be some banter. Yes, a lot of people are going to go in on him, and Liverpool fans included. This is another one. Why did he go on international duty when he had this knock already? And first and foremost, that's a terrible decision from him. Couldn't even play, should have been rehabilitating, not traveling, not doing any kind of training. How bad is that injury? Should he be played against Manchester United? Alisson also out, very little cover in those defensive areas as well. And the reason why I look at this, because if they get this wrong, Liverpool, if they get this wrong, if Konaté plays, if Gravenberch plays, and these very small minor knocks become massive problems, they are opening that door. They are opening that door and they're leaving it very, very wide open for Arsenal to come in and steal their belongings. I grew up in the East End of London. And although you should be able to leave your door unlocked, although you should be able to leave your front door left open and nobody ever touches a single thing, what you know from such a young age is that it doesn't matter if you've got dogs, doesn't matter if, like me, I grew up with loads of brothers, doesn't matter if you've got a house full of people. Individuals will still come in and take what's yours. It's not even dog eat dog. It was just at times a very cruel, horrible, and ruthless place to grow up. The housing estate I grew up on was nasty. And that element of it doesn't matter what's right or wrong, the reality of the situation is key. This is where Liverpool have got to make the correct decision this weekend. There's also been some rumours I've seen this week about Mo Salah maybe having a knock. I haven't seen any of that corroborated by any credible journalists, but it's there. Liverpool need to get back to winning ways, and I think that's so important for them. But you also have to balance up at what cost, because Arsenal look like they're purring right now. Arsenal look as though if they're given the chance and if they're given the opportunity, they could go on and win 3, 4, 5 more Premier League games on the bounce. And if Liverpool, I think Liverpool can beat Man United with or without Konaté and Gravenberch. I don't go into that game with a great deal of confidence more just because they're out injured, just because they're rested on the bench. And I think most United fans watching would agree with me. But I think Arsenal fans are rubbing their hands together at the idea of them both playing with these knocks. Now, I'm not suggesting that Arsenal fans would celebrate the injuries on a personal level towards those players. But if Liverpool's backline gets ever more weakened, if their best midfielder, the only guy that can hold the play, then gets missing for, even if it's just 2 or 3 games after that, there is a possibility against better teams than Man United, Liverpool then drop more points. I think they've got to get this right. And there's another team we're forgetting here as well. And Arsenal, some people now have them as the favourites. We spoke about that on the terrace this morning. Some people still see Liverpool as the favourites. A lot of people are also saying don't write off Manchester City. And I understand that logic and that train of thought as well. You shouldn't just write City off because Pep's their manager. They're serial winners. They've been there and done it and worn the T-shirt. And with the form Haaland is in and with a goalkeeper like Donnarumma, I think even without the best midfield in the world, which they used to have, they could still do something in this league if Arsenal are not over their confidence issues at crunch moments. And if Liverpool leave that door ajar, there are teams that are ready to pounce. There are teams that are ready to walk in. And I think we've created this notion in recent years that to win, you don't have to be the best team of the last 5 years, the best team in the Premier League of the last decade, the greatest Premier League team ever to win the Premier League. You can sometimes win it because you're always a good team when you win the league. You're never a bad team when you win the league. But you can win it by being the best team that season. But actually in that campaign, 1 or 2 teams also went off the boil slightly. So for instance, Man United, when we won the league in 2006, 2007, we deserved it. We were the best team in the league. 07, 08, 08, 09, those 2 Man United teams of the 3 that did the three-peat, of the 3 sides that won it, and again, it was The core was the same. But those second 2 seasons, that team performed at a much higher level. A much higher level than 06-07. Had Chelsea been at the same level as 04-05, maybe even as 05-06, we might not have won the league. But at the end of the day, we did. And that is all that really matters. And that is what Arsenal, and that is what especially City will be looking at when it comes to Liverpool. They're not firing on all cylinders at the moment. In their desperation, and it does feel, and this is what Arne Slot's got to do, he can't be making desperate decisions this weekend. What he needs to do is make the right decisions. This is chess. It is not checkers. Do they play? If they do, these can be minor injuries and we never hear another word about them. They beat United, go on a run. They could beat United and make these injuries worse and then go on another bad run. They could lose to United, pick up bad injuries, and then go on another bad run. And then the title race, for me, could be over before it has started. Do me a favor, please, and hit that like button. I cannot wait to read your opinions on this. I want to thank you all again for all the support you give the channel. It's been absolutely amazing this last sort of 3.5, 4 months since we launched the channel. To be at 80,000 subscribers already and growing is great. I know a lot of you watch the Football Terrace as well, and we moved a lot more of the opinion pieces over here. We've got some content dropping on Chelsea as well in the next couple of days. So I want you all here for that. And I know that sometimes you click because you're Arsenal fans, you click because you're Liverpool fans, but please do, if you would be so kind. You see a Chelsea story, a United story. We'd still love to get your views and opinions on that as well. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you soon. Peace.